So it's the
Yeah, I love all the.
It's pretty big.
All the shards everywhere.
there's a
Looks
lot of-
awesome.
All the what?
The shards and stuff.
Oh, shards.
What do you think I
Right.
said?
Hey gamers, Happy New Year. Hope y'all have been having a good one so far. In this video, I'll be giving you guys a brief recap of the recent official Elder Scrolls Online stream that gave us all a first look at what we can expect in Update 45. This update will be hitting the public test server on Monday, January 13th, and then Update 45 is scheduled to hit the live server on March 10th for PC players and March 25th for console enjoyers. The stream consisted of 4 significant segments. We received some news about the upcoming Cyrodiil test from Brian Wheeler. Gina and Jess shared a couple of improvements that are coming to the base game, including the first stages of implementing add-ons for console players. Hello? That's kind of crazy. We also got a first look at 2 new houses coming to the Crown Store later in the year, and then a very uncharacteristically quiet Mike Finnegan wrapped things up with a showcase of the 2 new dungeons that will drop with the update. Everyone, go send him some good vibes so he gets to feeling better soon. He got the Rona. Alright, let's not waste any time and get right into it. Gina recalled a point that was mentioned in the studio director's annual letter to the community that dropped a few weeks back. Matt Fire announced that the devs really need to address what's going on in Cyrodiil, one of ESO's open-world PvP modes, once and for all. A sentiment that the community has been begging for years while seeing very little progress being made on the matter. I logged into ESO for the first time in a hot minute the other day to do some casual Cyrodiil raiding with some guildmates. The moment we got into our first big fight, my FPS got shitted and farted on, which was a first for me since I upgraded to a much stronger laptop a few months ago. At one point, I got CC'd and I couldn't break free at all until I died. What a way to be welcome back to Cyrodiil after a little break, eh? These performance issues, among many others, have been persistent for years, and the performance in Cyrodiil will be the main focus of the upcoming Cyrodiil tests, nicknamed Cyrodiil Champions. Brian Wheeler elaborated by sharing that the plan during an upcoming week-long test on the live server is to get as many people into Cyrodiil as possible. The devs will temporarily lock the existing campaigns and introduce a new one called Vengeance. Ooh, so edgy. A lot of things will work differently in the Vengeance campaign. Let's go through some examples that were given on stream. The Sky Dome looks a bit different. Siege will not have to be packed up anymore. You'll have infinite potions. You'll have to actually target allies when casting healing abilities for the allies to be healed. Some effects that normally leave AoEs on the ground won't anymore. Abilities in general will be highly modified to be much simpler and less taxing on the servers because less calculations will have to be made. This was actually demonstrated with the Templar's Sweeps ability on stream. Players will not have access to passives, weapon lines, guild lines, Mundus bonuses, and more, all in the hopes of being able to have these huge, large-scale fights with minimal performance issues. Wheeler shared that in a recent test where the devs removed the population cap to test their new hardware, they still ran into a lot of performance issues because of the complexity of all of the abilities that are used. So the Cyrodiil Champions test is meant to tackle that head-on. The test will be taking place on the live server sometime in the future. No specific date was given. The reason why it's happening on the live server instead of the PTS is because there are way more people playing ESO on the live server than there are on the public test server. Seeing as the objective of this test is to collect data and feedback about massive scale battles, it only makes sense to conduct the experiment on the live server. As someone who poured tons of hours into testing the new battlegrounds on the PTS, I completely agree with this notion. It was difficult finding enough people online to load into the new 4v4 or 8v8 BG modes for testing, so a live Cyrodiil test is definitely the move. People will receive an XP and AP bonus for participating in this event. I'm hoping it's a juicy bonus like the one we get during Mid-Year Mayhem and not the crappy BG weekend event bonus. For those of you who are looking at this and going, nah, fuck that shit. Do not worry, it'll only last a week. Y'all can go touch grass or something for a couple of days. I don't know, I wouldn't know what that's like. As a reminder, this is just a test and not definitively how the developers plan to move forward with Cyrodiil. If you care about the state of Cyrodiil, definitely participate in that week-long test and share your feedback with the developers. A lot of people get jaded anytime I mention this sentiment about sharing feedback, and believe me, I understand why, since so many players feel like feedback isn't looked at or listened to anyway, so what's the point? I feel ya, but if you're still here playing the game and you plan on continuing to play the game and you have issues with this game, then that's the best we can do, right? Some feedback does get looked at after all. You can do this via the official forums, and the devs even mentioned going through the official ESO subreddit to gather feedback, so you could post there. Players will already be able to take a look at this new campaign during the second week of the update 45 PTS, but again, the official test will take place on the live server. Okay, that concludes the Cyrodiil test segment. Artea Nation. How we feeling? I'm eager to hear your thoughts, and even more eager to hop into the new Vengeance campaign and see what the fuck the devs have been cooking, man. I'll refrain from sharing my thoughts with y'all until I get a chance to test it out for myself. Gina and Jess then quickly shared a bunch of improvements that are being made to the base game in Update 45. First up, some current disguises will be turned into collectibles, which will clear up some inventory space for the role players. The base mount speed will be improved. Prior to unlocking the Major Gallop skill, mounts will move slightly faster than they currently do. And then even after your mount is fully upgraded with the Major Gallop skill and everything, they'll still move slightly faster than before. A handful of green champion points will no longer need to be slotted in order for their perks to be active. Huge! Massive even. Thank you, Zos. Very based. Some improvements will be made to the Tamriel map, such as adding custom waypoint icon colors and prioritizing way shrines that are shown on the map to remove clutter. Finally, I'll be able to port to Galen with ease instead of spending 2 minutes trying to navigate to the correct way shrine on the map. Some visual improvements will be added to starter zones. The plan here was to improve the world building of the older zones so that they're up to par with that of the newer zones that have been coming out. This entails swapping out lower res and lower poly assets, improving the blending of the terrain to make transitions more organic, adding more clutter and signs of life to these zones, using the new water assets developed for the newer zones, and more. And last but not least, the devs are adding preemptive measures to the PTS next week so that developers can get started creating and testing console add-ons that will be able to be used in a future update. Due to the memory required to sustain add-ons, they will only be available on the latest gen consoles. 2 new homes were showcased on stream. The first one was Castle Skingrad, a home located in the West Weald that is supposedly modeled after the layout of this castle in TES 4, by having the same floor plan and what have you. It's a huge-ass house with lots of nooks and crannies and winding hallways to place your 700 furnishings in, or 350 furnishings if you don't use your mom's credit card to pay for a monthly ESO-plus subscription. The second home is called Shattered Mirror Isle, and it's located in Fargrave.
For those wondering, you can't jump off this bridge. I tried.
This Mirrormore-themed abode is quite massive as well, and it even comes with a teleporter that can quickly send your character to another part of the home.
You could actually take 2 ways to get up top. There's that way, which is the long, boring way, and then there's also
Who wants to walk when you can teleport?
Right?
Cool touch. Is that the first time we've had something like that?
A mirror?
Both of the new dungeons that are dropping in Update 45 are themed around the effects and consequences of the Three Banners War. They were shown off with minimal spoilers, and Finn used dev commands to instantly nuke everything. Damn, bro, what's his build, dude? That's some crazy DPS. The first dungeon, Exiled Redoubt, located in the West Weald, tells the story of an imperial family that wanted to bring an end to the Three Banners War. Their son thought he was the main character of a Bethesda game and figured he could single-handedly stop the war in Cyrodiil. Unfortunately for him, his negotiations for peace were unsuccessful and he was promptly destroyed. After hearing the news, his remaining family members decided to go sicko mode, Scorched Earth style, so they built up an army to start capturing people from all alliances and bring everything down in ruin. Your squad will be tasked with venturing to their super secret underground lair to put an end to this tomfoolery. There may be some hidden bosses in this dungeon. The devs also created a new monster that we can find in this dungeon, the Iron Atro Spider. Why, man? Why did you have to make another spider, bruh? The second dungeon is Lepseclusa, located in a Boz landing. A former battlefield emperor became disillusioned from the war in Cyrodiil, so he deserted, gathered an army of fellow deserters from all 3 alliances, and decided to try to zerg down a small scale of monks and a moth priest to take an Elder Scroll from them. It's up to you and your gang to stop this zergling from using the Elder Scroll to bring about destruction. Lepseclusa has a lot of nooks and crannies to explore, but no side bosses. In fact, it has a more traditional boss setup, where there are 6 total bosses, 3 main ones, and then 3 mini ones that can be skipped if you don't want to get the loot from them.
And again, this will all
Oh
be
no!
Oh. Too bad for you.
Hey yo, is that a motherfucking Indiana Jones reference? The island that your squad is on is under siege by the deserter faction, so you'll have to watch your step as siege is raining down on you from above. This may be familiar to folks who have gone through the Falkreath Hold dungeon. For me, it just serves to trigger the PTSD that I have from fighting EP at Blue Road Keep. We got a quick look at the Siege Master boss, and Finn kinda hinted that maybe if we kill her, the siege will stop. And if that's true, that's actually a really neat mechanic. Some item sets were briefly shown on stream. Here's the best quality asset that I could find of them as of working on this video. Hopefully it's not like 144p. We can receive 2 new mementos for completing the dungeons on the veteran difficulty, 1 for each dungeon. The animations are quite nice, but unfortunately there isn't much of a use for mementos outside of role-playing usually. When we complete both of the dungeons on the vet difficulty, we can earn a skin. I'll forgive Zos for giving us more mementos that no one asked for and no one uses because we're getting another skin from these dungeons, which is nice. Waiter, more of these cool earnable dungeon rewards, please. Okay, that wraps up all the things that were shown off and discussed in the Update 45 preview stream. How are you feeling about everything? Judging from the comments on my last video that covered ESO news, I got the impression that a lot of folks were really put off by the plans for ESO in the following year. And although a vast majority of them have yet to really be thoroughly discussed, we did get some more information in this preview stream, like the Cyrodiil tests and base game zone revamps. I'd be curious to hear if your opinion has changed at all, or just how you're feeling about what we can expect in these next few months. That's all from me. If you enjoy these ESO stream recaps and content sneak peeks, definitely feel free to smash the subscribe button, as I always pull all-nighters to get these videos out for you anytime the devs host an important stream. So you can always expect a video like this to drop the day after a stream in case you missed it or want a refresher. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you YouTube members for your additional support as always, and I'll see ya in the next one. Cheers.